Hey, it's Tom here, crypto blogger on YouTube from techbait.net. Here we are, folks. Tokyo's Bitcoin whale has sold $400 million, and that's just the start. Okay? I originally found this article on my techbait.net site. So if you don't use techbait, you should really use it. Share it with your friends, share it on social media, let everybody know that there's a site that has all these cryptocurrency as well as other tech news stories updated regularly. All you do is go to techbait.net and that's it. Okay. Just plain old techbait.net and you got all the articles there and they're constantly updated. It's a resource. So anyway, back to this story. Over the last few months, the cryptocurrency markets have been in a terrible decline. It's been one correction after another. And people have been scratching their heads as to what could possibly be the cause of this, right? So, myself included, nobody really knows what's going on unless you really know what's going on. So all you could do is guess, right? So you look at the cryptocurrency, the Bitcoin charts over the last several years, and it's always customarily dipped in the beginning of the year. So that's something that lines up, right? So everybody's like, oh, it's the customary yearly dip. But it's been going on. It's been pretty bad this year because, the market was worth so much more before the dip than it was in previous years. So then it's like, oh, it's Chinese New Year. It's a lot of the Asian people with the Chinese New Year. It's a huge holiday. It's bigger than, or as big as, or bigger than like Christmas is in the Western world. People take off for like several weeks. They travel to be with family. It's a gift buying thing. So people are cashing out for this. And, that kind of makes some sense. There's a lot of Asian money in the market, right? So, but there's never been any real proof of that, So, okay, that's another one. And then there's all this just whatever, right? So here we got this one comes out. This looks like the most plausible reason. For those of you who don't know, there was a one of the first, if not the first, but it was a big Japanese cryptocurrency exchange called Docs. And what happens is they got hacked. And a lot of their bitcoins got stolen. People pulled their money out. They had to basically became insolvent because they couldn't cover the losses. And basically a trust was set up to pay off creditors, right? So anyway, this trust has a lot of money in it, a lot of Bitcoin. And think about it. When this thing happened, Bitcoin wasn't worth what it is today. So however many Bitcoins this trust has, the monetary value of this trust must have gone up a lot, especially in the fall and early winter, beginning winter of 26, late 2017, right? Just before the new year, when everything was flying high. Bitcoin was like touched $20,000, right? So anyway, even at now, today's prices around 10,000, it's worth a lot more than they were back then. So anyway, you've got this Tokyo lawyer who is basically, he's overseeing this. And he himself is able to go in and sell massive amounts of Bitcoin to get the money to pay creditors, right? Now, that all seems good, but this guy is dumping amazing amounts of Bitcoin into the market. It's tanking the price. Now, everybody knows that what they call whales. Whales are these early Bitcoin investors that have like millions and billions of dollars of digital assets at their whim, basically, because they got in early. They were mining Bitcoin early. They were buying it and mining it when it was worth just cents, mere cents. So these are people who have thousands or more of Bitcoin, and at today's prices, that they're millionaires or billionaires in many cases. So they can move assets around the digital cryptocurrency area and really have an impact on the market. So that's what a whale is, right? It's a big fish in the pond, right? I know whales aren't fish, but just go with it. So anyway, this guy he sold $400 million worth, and that's just the start. So you look at these articles, they go in and talk about this guy, and he's got his name. He's an attorney, Nobuaki Kobayashi, and he's the bankruptcy trustee for the no longer operational Mt. Gox, the exchange that filed for bankruptcy protection after losing 850,000 Bitcoin, right? Several years ago. So he finally disclosed. People were wondering where this was coming from, who was doing this. It's basically this guy, and it's not even his Bitcoin. It's not like he's getting rich off this, but he's having this effect on the market. He sold off roughly $400 million worth of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. The process began last September, so he started doing it slowly. And then, he still holds another $1.9 billion worth. That's the whole thing. Look at the havoc that this guy has caused, selling off just $400 million. He still has $1.9 billion worth of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash that he needs to liquidate, right? So we're in for a tough time, folks, until this guy's complete, until this guy's job is complete. So there's good news and bad news in this, okay? Hopefully some of you are listening to this and get what I'm saying, okay? Bitcoin is not dead. All this stuff about the price going down and there being crashes, we've been wringing our hands thinking, oh, is it the Wall Street money? Is it the Wall Street people coming and doing this? Is it the shorting the market? Is it the Chinese New Year? Is it what this, that, and the other thing? A lot of it's probably down to this guy. Unless you can prove this story a hoax, it's this, right? The bad news is he's not done yet, but the good news is that Bitcoin is in for a rough ride. Cryptocurrency is in for a rough ride. So all of us who wanted to get rich relatively quickly, it's probably going to take longer because the prices are going to be very volatile. Now, in that volatility, there's opportunity, right? The good news is if you have some sort of assets and you can put money into this, you can possibly get some good bargains on these things. And another bit of good news is that, folks, this is going to fly. Okay, all of these are earlier predictions about Bitcoin eventually hitting and surpassing the old $20,000 high up to 40, 60, 100,000, $1 million. Who knows where Bitcoin's really going to go? It goes to show that this is like an artificial thing. I mean, it's real, but it's created by somebody's actions. And at some point, he's going to be complete. The market also has absorbed this pretty well, considering how much he's dumped. And he still has a lot to dump. Now, he dumped a lot of money back when Bitcoin was down to like $6,600. He dumped it, and the market took it and came back up past 10. So it goes to show how resilient this market is. So there's a lot of interesting things that can be learned from this, okay? But he does need to liquidate the rest of the stash in the future. Hopefully this guy will now realize what he's done and maybe take it a little slower, but who knows? He just wanted to get as high price as possible, he said, for the creditors. Anyway, this article is pretty good. And also, they mentioned there's a UK company linked to Mt. Gox's stolen Bitcoin in the UK. Imagine if they get these back. 650,000 stolen Bitcoins are being laundered, and they're pretty much learning who's doing it. So maybe those people or person or whatever can get nailed and sent to jail where they belong. But anyway. At the end of this article, they say, what do you think of Tokyo Bitcoin whale and his intention to sell off another $1.9 billion worth of Bitcoin? Do you think this will have any effects on the market? Let us know in the comments below. I mean, duh, of course it's going to have an effect. Of course. I mean, this is crazy stuff, right? But again, got it. This isn't some systemic weakness in the market. It's not Wall Street raining on our parade. Money will be there to buy and absorb these Bitcoin that this guy needs to sell. But when he does, it's going to drop the price. So there's a lot of opportunity in that. Now, unless you get a line into this guy, when he's going to do it, you don't know. So one of the best things is hopefully these Tether alternatives like TUSD and some of these Arab state oil-backed tokens will come onto the market and give us a little something else to use other than the beleaguered Tether token. Because what happens is if you're able to put your assets into something stable, pegged to a currency like the dollar, the euro, whatever, it'd be a lot easier to then take advantage of these downturns. In other words, if you get some high flying time when your coins are doing very well and you can sell some off at a high, dump it into something stable, a Tether alternative, hopefully. Then when this guy does his thing and the markets start tanking, you can come in and buy this stuff up when it's priced low, get it on sale. So that's the idea there. So that's something that this is an amazing story. It really just is an amazing story because, people were wondering what the heck was going on. And there's a lot of things you can learn from this. And actually, it goes a long way. It gives me a lot of confidence in the overall cryptocurrency market, in the resiliency of the market, how much it can absorb, and how it's going to fly high, especially once this stuff is completely absorbed into the market and then there's no more massive dumping of these assets. And it goes to show what a huge someone with this kind of power can do to the market. That's a bad thing, but it is what it is. These are markets. Supply and demand. When there's a lot of supply coming in, the price goes down. Once that supply is bought up and used up, and the supply is no longer that free and open, liquid, whatever, it's that easy. I'm trying to think. I'm not using the right word here, but whenever the supply isn't as plentiful, all this new stuff isn't being dumped onto the market and lowering the price, then the price will naturally go up, and then it's really gonna fly. And there's a lot of people who don't believe in this. Honestly, I think the people who believe in fiat or they kind of laugh at digital currencies and cryptocurrency, they're going to be the ones being laughed at in the future because they really just don't get it. You don't understand this. Nice spam call. Come on. You believe this right when I'm in the middle of a video? So, that's unfortunate. So, call that number and harass them for me. So my train of thought just got nailed by this unexpected. I get these spam calls all the time. So anyway, so just to wrap it up, there's a lot of confidence. There's a lot of bright future in this market. And this story here actually filled in a lot of blanks. People were wondering, I was wondering really what was causing a lot of this. Why is the market? Now we have a big part of the picture right here. There's no way that this can't be playing a big part. The amount of assets, and remember, this is 400 million out of 1.9 billion to go. So unfortunately, you ain't seen nothing yet. The good thing is there's going to be a lot of buying opportunities in the future. So get ready, hold on, buckle up and giddy up. And like I said, the people who this is the future of money, folks. The system's going to move to this. I think the United States is eventually going to move to something like this. Fiat's days are numbered, okay? You can't just keep printing debt-riddled paper. It's going to collapse under its own weight. You need something that's got real scarcity, and there is a lot of scarcity in this. I know that there's a lot of coins, and people say, Bitcoin, yeah, there's so many, but you got all these other currencies, but these things all serve different purposes. The ecosystem for altcoins is a really great thing. And sure, a lot will fail and fall by the wayside, but the ones left standing are going to do amazing things. So, and this is a worldwide thing. This is a worldwide demand. Okay? So ignore it at your own risk and your own peril. That's all I got to say about that. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Bye.